Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan. So, a lot of you have been asking about Smarter, Better, Faster Audio, the interactive book. How good is it? How cool of an experience is it? So, I wanted to give you basically a free preview. Here's 7 minutes of Smarter, Better, Faster Audio, starting from right around the TAU Limitless stacks. So, we'll actually give you some stacks in this for free. Moves on to a bunch of different triacetyluridine stacks, some tyrosine data, kind of just generally using tyrosine, some stacks for tyrosine, a thyroid hormone, tyrosine selenium iodine protocol. And then moving on after that, we get to theacrine. We talk about theacrine and some stacks with theacrine, and just a whole bunch of other cool stuff. The main purpose of this is just to kind of show folks what Smarter, Better, Faster Audio is all about, how cool and interactive it is. You're actually going to be looking at it as if you have bought the product. You know, you have the video interactive page turning version of it in the background with me reading Smarter, Better, Faster. It's just such an awesome product. We're getting rave reviews about it. Folks love it. We've sold it in just about every country we sell product to so far. I mean, it's a really, really cool product. Right now, it's $30 at livecortex.com. If you need a discount, totally fine. Use the coupon code 5, F-I-V-E, at livecortex.com. Takes it down $5 to $25. All right, guys, enough talking, enough babbling. Right into a nice, awesome, informative clip of Smarter, Better, Faster Audio. Triacetyluridine can be stacked with other acetylcholine-centric compounds too, and I've come to find the following stacks quite effective. Number 1, 50 milligrams triacetyluridine, 75 milligrams phenylpiracetam, 100 milligrams alpha-GPC. Number 2, 25 milligrams triacetyluridine, 15 milligrams Noopept, 100 milligrams CDP choline. Number 3, 50 milligrams triacetyluridine, 500 milligrams oxiracetam, 100 milligrams CDP choline. Number 4, 50 milligrams triacetyluridine, 400 milligrams oxiracetam, 400 milligrams aniracetam, 100 milligrams alpha-GPC. And number 5, add caffeine, L-theanine, and Alcar to any of these stacks to compound results in 100, 300, and 350 milligram quantities, respectively. Okay, moving right along. Let's move on to not only a surgical nootropic compound in its own right, but a nootropic chemical that, when combined with the right things, can be a lifesaver for mental energy, speed of processing, and motivation. And that is L-tyrosine. First, this compound by itself is powerful. It's a precursor to 3 major neurochemicals: dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. These chemicals are responsible for motivation and alertness. I'll make this definitive statement about L-tyrosine. It is one of the best compounds on the planet for alertness and mental energy, partially because of its contribution to said 3 neurochemicals, but also because the thyroid gland uses L-tyrosine to produce thyroid hormone. Having adequate amounts of thyroid hormone equals good, solid, sustainable energy, both physically and mentally. It's a part of many different nootropic stacks like the pre-made stack Alpha Brain, which we'll review later on in the book, and is one of my favorite compounds for mental energy and alertness. And that's good and fine, but my personal take on L-tyrosine is that it should be taken with 2 other compounds that act as cofactors for the production of thyroid hormone. Therefore, I suggest you take L-tyrosine, iodine, and selenium. Together, these 3 compounds are used to create your thyroid hormones. The thyroid gland has a lot of functions, but in this context, it produces energy for you to use. Therefore, the definitive nootropic strategy with L-tyrosine is, number 1, 250 to 500 milligrams L-tyrosine. The dose range is there because people will require varying doses of tyrosine, some 250 milligrams, some 500 milligrams, some more, but you should start low and move your way up to find the best dose. Number 2, 1 to 2x the RDA for iodine. The RDA, or recommended daily allowance, is 150 to 200 micrograms. I recommend either the RDA or twice the RDA at 300 to 400 micrograms. Number 3, 1 to 2x the RDA for selenium. The RDA for selenium is 55 micrograms. So I would consider taking it either at 55 micrograms or 110 micrograms. Again, find out what works best for you through experimentation. Using this nootropic and energy strategy, you should be able to achieve good, solid, functional mental energy. It should increase your alertness quite a bit. It should give you the ability to sit down and focus for long periods of time. Donating to the neurochemical dopamine, you should notice an increase in motivation. It will likely not improve your working memory and will essentially be a stimulatory stack. Now, tyrosine can be stacked with acetylcholine modulating nootropics like alpha-GPC, CDP-choline, or uridine monophosphate. There are many pre-made stacks with similar combinations in them, like Alpha Brain by Onnit. I'd first start with something like that to gauge your response to cholinergics with tyrosine, and then if you like it, move on to experimenting on your own with powders, your own capsules, and a milligram scale. But the overarching point I want to get across here is that L-tyrosine is quite stimulatory, should be taken with other thyroid hormone precursors, and doesn't necessarily need to be stacked with anything else beyond that. If you find that the compound is a bit too stimulatory for you, you could, again, revert back to using the L-theanine strategy to tone down the stimulation, in which case take 300 to 500 milligrams of L-theanine. And ultimately, as with most nootropic and energy compounds, it may not jive well with your physiology no matter what you do. We'll get into that in the nootropics philosophy sector. In some situations, you just can't get a compound to function correctly, mostly meaning that you don't need the compound, won't benefit from it, and therefore should not take it. Okay, now that we've explained the power of L-tyrosine and supporting constituent chemicals, let's talk about one of my favorite nootropic compounds that is massively underrated in the world of nootropics. It is the mighty theacrine. Theacrine is perhaps the most underrated nootropic in all of cognitive performance enhancement. It is up there in efficacy, intensity, and impressiveness with the likes of Noopept and the most powerful racetams. Dare I even say, in the right dose and stacked with the right compounds, it can be as powerful as modafinil. I would confidently make that statement, and we're going to get into it right now. Theacrine accumulates in a plant known to make a tea called kucha tea, and the process is actually quite interesting. Here it is. Number one, a Camellia genus plant's leaves have caffeine naturally occurring in them. Number two, this caffeine goes through a chemical change within the metabolism of the plant, adding a methyl group to it. Number three, that chemical, what it turns into, is called theacrine. Number four, the metabolic processes of the plant stop there, and theacrine sits there and accumulates in the plant. But the real impact of that metabolic chemical change in terms of its nootropic efficacy is that the plant takes caffeine and does the following to it. Number one, it makes it almost doubly soluble. Solubility refers to the compound's ability to absorb and start producing effects. Number two, it makes it extremely more effective. Theacrine requires substantially less of a dose than caffeine to reach the same, if not better, effects. Number three, increases the half-life. Theacrine lasts considerably longer, is active and affecting the brain for more time, and can remain impressively effective at improving brain performance hours after administration. And if that wasn't enough, it also improves liver functioning in rats, is anti-inflammatory. I mean, this is a super nootropic compound, but perhaps the most standout component of the mighty theacrine is its effects. Simply put, theacrine induces lots of usable mental energy, improves verbal fluency, and fosters motivation. It is a noticeable wakefulness-promoting, sustainable brain energy-producing nootropic. Best of all, it doesn't seem to turn on the anxiety mechanism at relatively high doses like caffeine can. Once you start taking caffeine into higher doses, like between 150 and 300 milligrams, it starts becoming unmanageable. The high dose range for theacrine is 200 milligrams, and at that dose, that compound does not seem to induce anxiety for most people. Theacrine is nothing short of remarkable. Okay, now you should understand what it is and how it should affect brain function. Let's get to surgical theacrine stacks.